Welcome to Vigilant News, everybody, for June 10th, 2024. We're going to cover some pretty interesting stories, and we have a lot of dope coverage of the Reawakening event that a whole bunch of different Trump people were there. We'll go over that in a minute. To start off, we got a few stories. We got hit pop. Let's see. There it is. Sorry. We got mapping illegal immigrants by state, a cool map that I found you guys are going to want to see. We got right-wing tsunami in France stunned after Macron announces snap elections. So Macron did some underhanded BS, in my opinion, after his party lost big time in France. We'll get into some of that. Trump is to sit for a virtual probation interview after conviction in Bragg's hush money lawfare case. That's going to be happening soon. And Florida City discovers a mysterious network of tunnels experts believe they were used during the prohibition of humans for human trafficking. How's it going, Ryan?
Going well. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Was a action-packed weekend, huh? We were at the Reawaken America Detroit event for Ascent Nutrition and We the Media and Vigilant News, so we were doing a little bit.
Yeah, it was felt like a month in the span of 4 days.
Yeah.
I tell you, up here in the beautiful Great Lakes State, Michigan. I'm still up here. Justin's back home at the Vigilant News compound.
That's right.
But yeah, I'm still up here, man in the field. It's actually a beautiful day too. Clear blue skies, sun beating down on me. The only place I could find some peace and quiet was here in the car. So
Nice. Okay.
here I am.
Hold on 1 second. People are saying there's no sound. I'm just going to test. No, I can hear it. They'll let us know if you can't hear. I just tested the sound, guys, and it sounds working for me. But let me know, guys, in the chat. And while I'm acknowledging the chat, how's it going? Lulu, Silent Whisper, PJ, Corgan, Crystal Clear 17, Poso for Hope, and Crystal Clear says 5x5. All right, great. Thanks, Crystal. Real appreciate it. Always a interesting situation trying to run a show for some reason with the digital world we live in. But yeah, the event was really action packed. Like so we were at this Detroit event. There were probably at least 3,000 people there. We had Eric Trump there, Kash Patel,
Alina Habba.
Alina Habba, Ivan Reitman. I think Eric Trump. I might have mentioned it, but I'll just say it again. Yeah, the whole cadre of people. And mind you, this is the first big event that's happened, as far as I know, since the Trump conviction. So it was just, the energy was electric. And I don't think I've seen as much energy in support of Trump as I've seen in all the other 3 events that I've went to combined for Reawakening. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's like, he's locked up in this lawfare, I guess, trap of endless, court hearings. And, it's making it pretty much impossible to run a presidential campaign. But with the Reawaken tour, the way it's panning out, it's kind of like he is campaigning without even being there. There was thousands of people at this event, and it's not just Trump. It's like a Trump kind of rally, but it's all of Trump world too. So you had Kash Patel. Right. They showed the General Flynn movie. My brother, who is like not even really into any of this stuff, he showed up to help us and caught the Flynn movie right at the beginning. It was showing as soon as he arrived. So he sat through that and was just like, whoa. So that's how he started out that weekend. And, observing him and going through all that and kind of like seeing how, prior to it, I didn't think he was going to be too interested in the actual substance of the event. He was just there to help. But after watching the Flynn movie, he was pretty engaged. And then right after that, Alina Habba came out, as we'll show you guys. And she was talking kind of like about what it's like behind the scenes at all these trials with Donald Trump. And I think some of the things that she said were not only enlightening, but very hopeful. And so my brother also got to witness all that. And so he just became engaged without even planning to. Now he's super interested in all this. He's been following it since the event. It's only been a couple of days, but he's like, keeping up on stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So it was pretty. Yeah, it was cool to watch somebody, especially my brother, of all people, get activated. Like, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just like, hey, we need help, why don't you come down and help us? And then just played out naturally. It was pretty cool. But yeah, it's basically like a Trump rally. It's like a way more involved Trump rally where there's actually a kind of a sense of community. You know, this is like the fourth Reawaken tour we've gone to. So, you know, seeing the cast of characters that we've met over the last few years of doing these, you know, like Courtney, some of you guys recall Courtney. She's been on our show to talk about Tavistock, Anna Kate, the Mycronic Silver guy. There's all these people behind the scenes that, you know, you might not know about, but we've now met multiple times after going to these events. We've made like a small little network of connections, and it's nice to see all those people. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you know what the cool thing is with these events too is you pay what you can. So, you know, obviously I'm not saying that everybody has to do this because events are very expensive, time consuming, and, you know, money needs to be an important factor. You can't keep doing them. But there's such a massive show of support for these quasi, Trump rally events that Clay Clark is basically like, well, you just pay what you can. And what ends up happening, this is what's so beautiful about, you know, the conservative, patriotic, MAGA Christian side of the aisle is that people who, when they say they pay what they can, some people will pay like 10 times what the price actually is so that other people can go for free. And I just love that idea. I hope we can do events like that at some point in the future because I would just love that. I'm big into community and want to bring that. So.
And it's definitely like predominantly Christian conservative, but like there's a lot of people out there that are not exactly that, you know,
Yep.
like me, like I'm not a big fan of Israel. I'm not a big fan of every single thing that is like the orthodoxy of Christian conservatism. And there's a lot of people there that aren't too, but they see it, you know, they're still engaged. They're still part of the team, you know, like, what was it, Jason Burmis we interviewed at the event, the guy who did Loose Change, documentarian. Probably a lot of you guys know who he is. You know, he has opinions that a lot of people that were speaking at this event don't have, but they're still there, despite their disagreements. So that was another thing I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's a beautiful space. And, I hope that we can create something like that. We've got a lot of big plans for We the Media because we're building out We the Media right now, which I'll tell you guys a little bit about here. Ryan's got to go in like maybe an hour and 10 minutes. So I'm going to try to keep the rambling to a minimum, but, we're not rambling, you know what I mean, ranting, but yeah, so it was a really awesome event. And, with that, let me do a few quick announcements. So if you probably don't know this because we haven't announced it yet, but We the Media now has a Rumble channel. So if you go to rumble.com/C/We the Media, or I think you can actually just type We the Media after Rumble. You can go to the We the Media page. Yep. You just go right to the We the Media page. I'll show you guys what it looks like. And we're asking if you would be so kind as to follow that channel because we're going to start to do some awesome stuff on there. We got some big plans. As a matter of fact, the Trump DJT party that we've been talking about, that's going to be broadcast on We the Media. So check that out. You can also, of course, go to Vigilant News Rumble. That's going to be posted there as well. But we're going to drive people to the We the Media because we want to have this kind of be like the big, as much as big as we can in 4 weeks of planning, make the event as large as we can. So check out that We the Media Rumble. I also wanted to show you guys the Substack for Vigilant News. So we have created a Vigilant News Substack. We have the website, of course, and we're still going to use the website, but we wanted to have Substack be a good place. There's a lot of benefits to having Substack. It's like the functionality for Substack's really easy to use. It comes with all these built-in features. So, if I had a web admin that could run everything for me, I might try to do it all through the site, but Substack, it's an amazing tool, and we want to use that tool. So what we have I think I have about 24 or 5 different video clips I want to show you guys today. We're not going to be able to get to all of them. And
Can we?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, can we start with the Reawaken ones? Because I'd really like to see those.
Yeah, the ones from the actual event itself?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not even going to play the interviews we did because those are they're like 50 minutes and they're just going to chew up a ton of time. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to post the interviews. We got an interview with Michael Flynn Jr., and it was an awesome interview. We got to ask a really good question about what he thinks about the alternative media. He gave a kind of behind-the-scenes glimpse of what things are like for him, and even asked him the VP question. which I thought he gave a really good answer for. So if you want to see that interview, you got to go to vigilantnews.substack.com. That's vigilantnews.substack.com. You can actually check out the links in the description too. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, one of the arguments, because we've asked the question on the show before, since we're not going to show the clip, I thought I'd get into this real quick while I actually have the time, that, what does the audience think about Flynn as VP? And one of the common responses that you get for that is that, well, the vice president has no power. What would, it would be a wasted position as vice president. And he would be better off as, say, director of national security or national intelligence, something like that. I think that's not true. And he kind of expressed, I mean, a lot of you've probably seen the Flynn movie. The only reason that Flynn was ousted was because of Pence, ostensibly. The vice president exercises tremendous power over the president. Mm-hmm. So, having somebody in his corner like that, I think there's probably more benefit to him being in that role, and that, so many people have worked with Flynn, and there's probably a lot of people he trusts that could be in those other positions. I'm still really down. Like, if he's going to be a national security advisor or whatever, that works too. But I've kind of changed my tune on the VP not being a good idea for Flynn. And now I see it as more like, okay, behind the scene, on paper, maybe they don't have all of the power in the world, but they're right there with the president all the time, especially when he's meeting with people. And if Flynn's been, studying and dissecting the deep state for all this time, having that person literally with you during all these meetings is probably pretty helpful. Right.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think no matter what, I trust Trump to make a good decision when it comes to his staff. But Flynn is one of these people that I think would probably be pretty qualified in almost any situation. But the VP spot has a lot of political image, optics, influence, and I think Trump picking Flynn would definitely have a lot of power, but he doesn't have to. There's a lot of options there. So yeah, guys, check out again. I'll put the link in the description again. It's Substack, vigilantnews.substack.com. Also, while I'm here, don't forget about the DJ Tea Party. We got Donald Trump's digital birthday block party coming at you here. And you can go to Eventbrite. You can actually check in the description. You can sign up for the party right at eventbrite.com. You can also go to djtparty.com. We're going to have trivia. We're going to watch Mr. Truthbomb's The Great American Patriot. We're going to have a section about some of Trump's accomplishments and some of the amazing things he's done. And I didn't realize how much stuff this guy has done for us. I mean, I knew, but I didn't really know until I saw, some of the things that we're going to present here this Friday. So that's going to be this Friday. I believe we're going to start it at 8 p.m. But we had to make some kind of last minute changes, so the timing had to get shifted a little bit. But we're going to shoot for 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're probably going to go till 12, maybe even 1, depending on what the energy is like. So definitely put it in your calendar. Let everybody know. And it'll be on the We to Media Rumble channel. All right. Let's go over some quick news stories for today. And then we'll get into some of the videos we have from this weekend. So here we go. This is the first one. We got mapping illegal immigrants by state. So this was done. The crazy part about this was done with 2021 numbers from the Pew Research Center. So here's the map. Hey, can you mute it real quick, bro? You're coming in like real hot with the typing. Or I can do it for you too. All right, there we go. So this is the map right here, and it shows 0 to 2 million. So the color scheme, if it's redder, then it has a higher population. Of course, you can see the numbers here, and what you see here is that that there's a lot of illegals. They actually calculate this is 2021 numbers. 2021 numbers. That there's 10.5 illegals in the United States. That is a massive amount of illegal immigrants inside the United States. So yeah, any comments on that? Here, no, okay. All right, I'm just going to keep moving right along here. Of course, you can find all these links at vigilant.news, vigilant.news, or you can check the description for the show notes for today. Right-wing tsunami, France stunned after Macron announces snap elections following crushing defeat in European Parliament vote. So I had to do a little research to really get my head wrapped around this one. So what happened is there was a parliamentary election for the European Union, and then hold on one second. Got this damn cold. Sorry if I sound a little snuffed up. I'll tell you guys about how powerful Agarikon is here afterwards, because I felt awful this morning, and I took some Agarikon mushroom, the stuff we saw at Sun Nutrition, and no joke, it really helped, like, profoundly. So there was a vote in the European parliamentary elections that happened recently, and the RN party, which is the, what is it again? Real National Rally, National Rally, not, National Rally Party of Marie Le Pen, like, blew it out of the water, got double the votes than the Macron vote. And so what Macron did is he actually dissolved the Parliament of France, which you might be thinking, like, why the hell would he dissolve the Parliament of France? Well, apparently you can do that in the French Constitution through Article 12, or Clause 12, I should say. And it gives the president the power to dissolve the parliament if he feels that the parliament is not acting in concert with the will of the people. And it's a little like, what is the basis for that? Can he just literally flip a switch and all of a sudden, boom, the parliament's gone? I mean, the parliament there is kind of like our Congress here. Imagine if Biden, after an election, was like, you know what? I don't think the Congress represents the will of the people. I'm just going to liquidate everybody and we're going to have new elections here in 3 weeks. That's basically what Macron did. So it's a pretty crazy situation. But what I think it shows, and this is what I posted last night on my social medias, that there is a massive wave of freedom, and the people that were oppressed in other elections because of the election fraud, Marie Le Pen being one of them, the people are so activated and risen up against our deep state oppressors that they're turning out in droves. And I think we're going to see the same thing here in 2024 in the national election. Commentary?
Just that it's not surprising. I mean, that's the deep state MO, and everybody knows Macron is a card-carrying member. So, it's just par for the course, really.
Right. 100%. Yeah, exactly. So that's an interesting one. Keep an eye on that one. Don't forget, guys, check the link in the description. I believe you can find our telegrams there, but you can also find our telegrams if you go to the show notes on vigilant.news, and we're posting a lot of stuff in there. I'm certainly posting a lot. I know Ryan's posting quite a bit. So I just want to let you guys know if you want to touch base with us during the week before the shows, you can do that there. We got Trump to sit for virtual probation interview after conviction in Bragg's hush money lawfare case. So that should be interesting. Never heard of a former president having to deal with probation, but there you go. And last one here, we got Florida City discovers a mysterious network of tunnels. Experts believe they were used during Prohibition for human trafficking.
Yeah, it's just, I thought that it says or for human trafficking. So it could be that they were used for Prohibition in the past and then used for human trafficking in the future, something like that. But, in this community, we often hear about the tunnels. So I thought it would be worth including this little nugget in the mix.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Human trafficking is, think about it. Like, they have fundamentally altered our society to make it easier for them to steal kids and horribly abuse them. Do you think they'd be beyond digging a few tunnels to make that happen too? So I wouldn't be surprised if that's happening. So a
lot of tunnel news coming out this year.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Maybe you guys remember the tunnels from this January in New York.
Yep.
What was
that was an interesting set of tunnels. It was a regular, I'm not even going to say it because I don't want it to get taken out of context. But yeah, it was pretty crazy.
We need some tunnels.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I want tunnels.
All right. So I wanted to also tell you guys, so I got sick. So I started to feel a little tickle in my throat, in my nose. It was actually on Saturday night after the conference had ended. And it didn't seem that bad. You know, I actually didn't know what it was. I just woke up with like a little dry throat. I'm like, oh, okay, that's weird. You know, it's an Airbnb, so they're using like Tide and Glade and all this kind of, you know, biotoxins are everywhere. But so last night, when I got home from the flight at around 10 o'clock, I'm like, yeah, something's definitely feeling weird. I got definitely by the time I got back to the house a couple hours later, I could feel that telltale signature of a little cold, like exploding into my nasal and sinus cavity. That little tickle that I know that for me is like an indication that something's going on. So I took some Agarikon mushroom, I put it in some water, switched it around, gargled with the Agarikon mushroom. I also gargled with EM brew, which is this effective microorganisms brew. I'll tell you guys about that at some point because this stuff is amazing. But it's basically like a symbiotic microbiome that you can use to restore your body's gut bacteria and use it to clean and do all this crazy stuff, neutralize toxins too. And so I woke up at like 7 in the morning and man, I just felt like I got hit by a truck. Like I felt kind of cold and feverish. My nose was just totally stopped up. My throat was all dry and scratchy, and I felt like I had a sore throat. So I got up, I went downstairs, I did another round of the Agarikon, I did more EM brew, and then I slept for another couple hours, and I woke up feeling like 95% better. It was remarkable. And I want to attribute part of that to the Agarikon mushroom because Agarikon mushroom was actually studied by the Defense Department, DoD, for biodefense. I believe it's called the BioShield program. And what they discovered was that Agarikon mushroom can actually protect against a lot of biological warfare. And where do you think they get the biowarfare stuff from? It's from nature. So basically, with this Agarikon mushroom, you got yourself like nature's best protective shield. You know, it's not God's armor. It's not the armor of God, but it's pretty darn close. And it works really well. So, you know, it's funny, I was talking about this stuff all weekend, and then here I am actually experiencing it firsthand, and it was remarkable how well it felt. So definitely check out the links in the description for Agarikon mushroom. But don't forget, you can use Awake10 for 10% off. Awake10 for 10% off. And if you subscribe on the website, you get 10% off for life. I actually didn't know that. Plus free shipping. So it's a really good deal. Lance really tries to make this stuff available for people. All right. So with that, let's go ahead and switch to some videos. So let me pull up the Telegram. Where is that there? There it is. I'm going to switch over to the top secret. So we're in the top secret right now. You're not going to be able to find this in the in our Telegrams yet. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to be posting these videos. I'll probably take like a week to post all of them because I don't want to blast the channel like all at once. But I'll be posting them over the next week. I will definitely post the Flynn interview today as well. So you can check our Rumble, Vigilant News Rumble for the Flynn interview. You can also check the Vigilant News Substack. I'll be posting it on there as well. And let's go ahead. And so first videos, I wanted to show a few of the videos from Kash Patel. Let me see if they're kind of like in a strange order, so I'm going to have to hunt around for the right ones here, but let's see what this one is.
Hi, my name is Michelle Peterson. I'm from Illinois, and my son...
Okay, that's not the right one. I'm going to go up here. I want to play one of these ones first.
Well, how about a thank you to these guys and their whole team for putting on the Reawaken tour. Mike and Clay.
Nope, that's not it either. All right, hold on one second, guys. I think this is it right here. It's the first one.
What is going on with President Trump? He appears to be 7 years younger. He looks younger, but yet it gets crazier, the attacks. What's going on in the Trump circle right now?
It's pretty amazing to see. I was just with the president for one of the final days of trial, all day with him. And Clay's right. He looks younger. He's in more energetic shape than I've ever seen him. And I keep asking him every time I get a one-on-one with him, sir, how do you do it? Why do you do it? You know, most importantly, why are you doing this? And his answer has never changed in the 8 years I've known him. His answer has simply been that there's too much at stake for our country. He is not going to bend the knee. He's not going to leave this place in worse off conditions for our children. So he's going to continue to fight. And I was like, all right, that's it.
All right. So next question here. President Trump Obviously, just got convicted what I believe to be bogus charges, but it happened. So tell us, what does that mean? July 11th is a big date coming up. How are you processing that from maybe a legal perspective?
Yeah, I mean, putting aside the complete unconstitutional rig job that was, we now have to go to a sentencing date on July 11th in the state court in New York before this judge, who is a complete lunatic and also making literally millions of dollars by unlawfully prosecuting and putting President Trump under a false conviction. So what has to happen procedurally is, between now and then, normally you would never, ever, ever appeal directly to the Supreme Court. But I've recommended publicly that he do that because there's too much at stake right now to leave in the hands of the New York judicial system, which is entirely broken. And so hopefully that's a measure the lawyers are taking into consideration. But short of that, on July 11th, there will be a sentencing. And this judge will implement a sentence. Now, I don't know, he's crazy enough to try to put Donald Trump in prison. I don't know if that is going to be an acceptable measure to everyday Americans. I don't think it is. And but the thing is, I don't think he cares, the judge. So we have to sort of, we'll prepare for all eventualities, but we got to go in there thinking that we got to come in twice as hard for President Trump on the other side of it, no matter what happens.
All right, so there you go.
Man, they're going to do it, huh?
I think so, dude. What do you think about the whole Supreme Court thing?
Yeah, I don't know. Have they announced that that's even what they're going to do? Or
well,
what?
as far as I know, they haven't, but that we kind of got like an inside scoop because of Kash.
Well, I think they probably won't if the goal is to get. I mean, it just sounds to me like Kash was laying the groundwork for a Trump prison sentence and suggesting that, and Trump's been doing the same thing in all of his interviews lately. Like, I don't think America's going to stand for it. I don't think the people are going to stand for it. So that's the messaging that they keep coming out with. So I think, I mean, maybe it'll go to the Supreme Court and they'll still sentence him. I don't know. But I think the prison thing is something that's definitely on the table.
Yeah. I definitely think the prison thing's on the table. I mean, the first arrest will rock the world, right? So, yeah, I think that might be a big factor. And, for them to go straight to the Supreme Court, if they did do that, that's going to be a massive PR event. And it's going to do, in my opinion, if they went that route, it would make another step forward in the direction they've been doing, which is to have this Trump trial situation expose the deep state. I mean, I wrote an article about a few weeks ago about Jesus did to the Pharisees what Trump is doing to the globalists. And what the Pharisees did to Jesus is they persecuted an innocent man. It destroyed their credibility within the Jewish community. And that's exactly what Trump is doing with the deep state right now. So if that's one of the goals, what I definitely think it is, then they're going to definitely be able to do that if the Supreme Court doesn't even hear the case when it's so clearly an instance where the Supreme Court should intervene. So.
And interestingly, this weekend, one of the things that Lance, the owner and founder of Percent Nutrition, kind of speculated on was in the drops, they mentioned the shot heard around the world. Will they actually try? And maybe it'll be totally controlled, whatever. This is all just total, deep speculation. But, would the shot around the world be an attempted assassination attempt on Donald Trump?
Oh, yeah.
And what would that do for his numbers? If, I mean,
oh, my God. Yeah.
So, I thought that was an interesting thing to kind of mull over in the old noggin. But
yeah, let us know what you think in the chat, guys. Do you think Trump's going to potentially have an assassination attempt against him? Or, is they're going to go to the Supreme Court and they're going to arrest him anyway? What are your thoughts? All right, let's go ahead and take a listen to another one of these videos. Don't forget, they'll be on the Vigilant.news Substack account here throughout the week. Oh, come on.
Stuck this note in my hand. She was a nurse.
Come on.
100%, but
There we go.
just one. Hi, David Black from Kalamazoo, Michigan. And my wife stuck this note in my hand. She was a nurse in the past, and she wants to know, and we support President Trump 100%, but just wondering, why did he agree to Operation Warp Speed? And if,
I knew I was going to get it.
You knew you were going to get it.
With the vaccines and all that, if
So look-
they're so bad, why hasn't he rejected that now?
So I think, and we've talked about, Clay and I have talked about this. This is a one of the most personal and divisive issues in the country. And it's very easy to play Monday morning quarterback, and it's very easy to say we should have done X or Y had we known what we know now. But if you wind the clock back, when I was Deputy Director of National Intelligence and President Trump made the brave decision to shut down travel to and from China and what's called a racist for it was based on intelligence that we had. And during that time, we had a global pandemic unleashed upon the world, and the world was looking to the commander-in-chief for an answer, or at least some answers. And so a lot of the community was looking for a medical answer. A lot of the community was looking for an origination answer. A lot of the community was looking for, how do we make sure this never happens again? And based on the information we had at that time, I think, and I still believe President Trump made the right decision at that time to offer it as an option to the world and did it in record speed. Now, again, had we known Fauci was lying to us the entire time, we would have acted differently. I believe President Trump would have taken a different course of action. And I think you've seen President Trump come out there and say, in a time of crisis, the President of the United States must lead. And he led with the best information he had, relying on government career experts. How could we have known they were going to completely lie to you and the world for, I mean, I guess we could have, but looking back at it, but for financial and monetary gain. So it is a very personal issue. And I think we've come to a point now, 4 years later, 3 years later, with all the intelligence that we have, that might have been handled differently in the past. But I, for one, believe in the decisions that President Trump made. I, for one, believe that he gave it to the only entity on God's green earth that could run that logistical operation, the DoD, Warp Speed. And at the time, it was the absolute right decision to do. And going forward, he's always said, we're not the ones that mandated our troops to take the vaccine. We're not the ones that mandated law enforcement to take the vaccine. What we need to now go do is find out how many of our law enforcement, how many of our military, and how many of our first responders and teachers were fired or not benefited, but suffered a consequence as a decision they made with their family to not receive any sort of vaccine. We have to go out there and find them and then give them remuneration, give them their jobs back. And I believe the only way we can do that is President Trump.
All right. Well, hot topic issue. I'll comment first on this one. I think the thing that Trump often, puts on display is not the virtues of the vaccine itself, or that he loves it and he thinks it's fine and there's nobody can complain about it. It's that the rollout of it during Operation Warp Speed was a fabulous success. That as a production, as an aspect of like the factory line, so to speak, that's what he kind of beats chest about. And I also, a point that I'm probably going to write about in the Substack that I release about this is that from a bureaucratic perspective, the president doesn't have the right to unilaterally decide which medical intervention should be used or not be used in an emergency situation. He, even if he was a doctor, he wouldn't be able to do that. And if he did try to do that, then they'd be throwing dictator and all sorts of issues. They probably would have impeached him for trying to, potentially get in the way of a medical rollout of something. So that's a really big point. It's like when you're the president, you're not there to decide which ones are happen for sure based on your gut or without medical evidence. You had to go with what the medical evidence shows. And at that time, they rigged the evidence to show that the vaccine was a good option. Obviously, we know that now. That's BS. But I think all things considered, Trump probably did make the right decision. Any comment?
Yeah, basically just the same thing. Like a big chunk of the country, even a lot of conservatives at the time, wanted an answer. They wanted a vaccine. How would it look if Trump didn't give it to him? You know what I mean? Like, he had to do something. Like, as the commander in chief, he had to give the people what they want, what they were demanding. And of course, it was Dr. Birx, Dr. Fauci, and that whole, medical industrial complex behind them that was giving them this is what you need to do. So he did what he was told. Like, what would it have looked like if he went off and did something completely underhanded? I don't know. Who knows how that would have played out if he just was like, no, I'm going to force hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin on the whole country. And they would immediately say Trump forces horse paste on entire nation. How would that look? You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the thing that people kind of tend to forget. And I think a lot of, bots and sock puppets and stuff like this endlessly beat this drum, or just people who want to be edgy and cool and hate on Donald Trump. Even there's a lot of that in the anti-establishment, the greater community, that's one of the issues they tend to use. And that's the context that's missing is that he got it rolled out. It was completely optional. All of the fallout and all of the damage that was done, that shouldn't be on him. That should be on Fauci. That should be on Birx. That should be on everybody who said this is the path to fixing this problem, not Donald Trump. Literally all he did was make it available in record time. So,
Right. Yeah, 100%. Exactly. All right, let's take a look at this one coming up right here.
Oh, hello. My name is Sue Hunt Case, and I'm from St. Clair, Michigan. And my original question was, what are you going to do about the election if it's rigged? But that was similar to what the other lady was asking. So I was wondering, like, should we go and vote early, perhaps, just like the Democrats do, just in case something happens on election day?
Listen, this is a great question. Now is not the time to figure out what our political hill is to stand on regarding voting. If we lose, it doesn't freaking matter. So if your state or community permits ballot harvesting, go ballot harvest. Go out there and harvest ballots. If your community or state permits early voting, then go out into your communities and early vote. And not just you yourselves, find every single person a ballot was sent to and help them lawfully vote. This is the rules in most jurisdictions. We cannot rely on the system as is if we want to be victorious on November 5th and change it. We've tried that in the past, and unfortunately it didn't work. Our beliefs on what happened in the past elections itself put aside, what we have to do now is use the levers the radical left has been using, and we have a bigger movement than they do. We have we have the best leader of all time, and we have so many Americans flocking to his movement that have not been there before, that is up to you and your communities to go out there and use every lawful measure you can to obtain every single vote, early, fast, and often.
Yep, there you go. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's, when you're on the battlefield, you can't be like, well, I'm not going to do this because that's not fair or it's against my principles. What happens? You're going to die. So you kind of got to use whatever the battlefield gives you to work with. And, thankfully, I think a lot of people share that sentiment. But, there's still some people out there that are like, well, until we fix 2020, there's no point in voting in 2024. And not only do I think that's flawed thinking, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's some kind of, intelligence agency, spook kind of operation. So, well, I'll just say real quick, guys. So some people are asking, what's on his arm? And he's got some kind of brace on his arm because apparently he got into a hockey injury at some point. I don't know when. And they actually give him a hard time about that. When I post the full interview, which I'll be doing on our Rumble channel, and I'll post it on the Substack as well, so you guys can see it. You can hear him talk about that. All right, here we go.
Hi, my name is Michelle Peterson. I'm from Illinois, and my son was a victim of grooming by a male teacher. We have the first and only grooming conviction in the United States. So my question is, after this last session, I was able to work with General Flynn and his sister Mary Flynn O'Neill. We got a law passed in Florida for grooming. We also got a law passed in Iowa, anti-grooming, also in Georgia through another mom. And what I'm wondering is how can you help me get this mainstream to get a law passed in all 50 states? Because that's my goal, and that's what God has put on my heart.
I don't think you need my help. I think you're doing just fine. I mean, this is an amazing example of what you can do on one issue and take it nationally that our movement strongly believes in. We don't want any groomers, and if they're doing it, they should be in prison. I think what you are doing should continue. I think you should go talk to everybody in this room and figure out where their communities are, and if they don't have legislation on the books that you did, then they need to transplant that legislation into those communities. And then I need you to think you talk to law enforcement and have them say, we don't want, and these guys are predators. Let's just call it what they are. These people that groom our children are predators in waiting. So why would we treat them any differently? But again, it's not up to big government to fix it. It's up to brave women like this who go out there and say, I'm going to fight for our children. So the challenge is not how you can help us. The challenge is how we can and should be helping you, because you're talking about protecting our future generations.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with this one. I mean, there's so much we can do as individual citizens, way more than we like to think. And when you got some passion, you got some fire, and you can actually work with other people, you can move mountains, guys. So we could literally, if we had enough clout as a united citizenry, we could recall all these elected officials, no problem. Get them right out of office. So that's a really good stuff right there. And then let's see, what is the next one? Let's do this one next.
Now, I asked this guy to hop to the front of the line here. This is America's General.
Yes.
General Flynn, what question would you have for Kash Patel there, sir? Maybe you can paint him into a corner. You know, there you go.
Are you really a hockey player? Seriously.
We already did that. The two white guys can't ask any more hockey questions.
I heard the excuse. Wow, what question do you ask Kash Patel? He's unbelievable.
You can tell we planned this.
Mexican. Yeah, so here's a tough one.
Now, I asked this guy to hop to the front of the line here. This is
Oh, whoops. That clip didn't work out. I'll make sure that clip is actually playing right. It looks like one of them got cut off too early.
Damn.
It might be here. Let me play this one.
Well, how about a thank you to these guys and their whole team for putting on the Reawaken tour?
No, we saw that one. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw that one. Okay. All right. So, man, I'm trying to remember what he says in that section. I'll tell you what. That's just
It's about the border. It's something about the border. I don't remember what he said.
Yes, that's it. Okay, so Flynn says, what should he do about the border? And then Kash says he needs to designate the cartels as a foreign terrorist organizations, FTOs, I believe. And that designation would allow the executive branch to mobilize basically the entire Department of Defense to go into these countries, amass troops on the border, deal with a lot of the border drug running and other things that are happening. All the criminal activity at the border is almost entirely by these cartels, and really do a really decisive hit against these guys. So, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's what hopefully will happen.
Right.
You got Alina Habba clips in there?
I do. That's what we're going to play next.
Nice.
All right, so we got a bunch of clips. How are we doing on time? Okay, I think we'll be able to get through them all, actually. All right, so she had a bunch of cool things to say. I wish they loaded in order. If I had more time, I could put them in order, but we'll just give it a shot and see what happens. Don't forget, guys, to go check the link in the description for Ascent Nutrition, Agarikon mushroom. There's a whole bunch of other stuff happening right now with Ascent that you definitely want to check out. And every time you buy anything from Ascent, you can use promo code AWAKE10, and it'll support this show. Oh, don't do this to me. Oh, there we go.
No, it's okay. We all love God. I go to church every Sunday. I go to CCD with my kids. God knows there is something much bigger than me and all of us. So you've got to remember one thing. While I sit there and I lose hope sometimes, I remember there's one thing: God's plan. This is God's plan. It worked in 2016. It's going to work again.
All right,
No,
so there you
it's
go.
okay.
That's one of the statements. One thing I'll say about Alina Habba in this, during her time on stage, is she kind of said some stuff that made me think she knows quite a bit about what Trump has in store. And I think I got a clip of that that I'm going to show you guys here. Did you have any comment on that?
I don't know what clip you got, so I don't know if I'm saying what I was thinking is going to ruin anything. But yeah, let's see the clip.
Okay. All right, so let's move on to the next one here.
So I bring up Hillary Clinton for a very important reason. She paid a law firm.
All right, I'm going to actually go to the next one because that's the setup for the one we just played. So here we go.
In every single trial where I have gone into court, and I've been practicing law for almost 15 years, I have never in my life been gagged, had my First Amendment rights taken away from me, had my clients' First Amendment rights taken away from me. But when I walk into court and I say, "Hi, my name is Alina Habba, and I'm attorney for President Donald J. Trump," there is a vitriol that I cannot explain to you. It's called Trump derangement syndrome. In my next life, I'm going to have a whole therapy, AA type program for people with TDS. I'm going to kill it. But when you see somebody who took the same oath of office that I took, I said, I'm going to stand by the Constitution. I believe in God, I believe in my family, and I believe in America. Those people that put those robes on and look at us the way they do, they don't believe in what we believe in. They believe in politics. And you know why I love President Trump? He's not a politician. So I walk into court and I always say, hi, my name is Alina Habba and I represent President Donald J. Trump. I also represent the Trump Organization and I represent a bunch of people that they just target just for the sake of it. And everything changes. All constitutions go out the window. We have no law and order. We have governors making new laws just to take down Trump. And as I stand here today, the man is higher in the polls, and his campaign has done better than we have ever seen. So remember that when you're sitting there and you're watching the news and they can't tell you our little wins, they can't tell you our big wins, shut it off, Google the polls, look at who's sitting next to you, and remember that what they're doing is not working. It's not working. It's going to make us stronger. So let me tell you what's going to happen in 2024. Number one, we're going to win. And we're going to go clean house. And by the way, it's not for us. It's for my babies. It's for your grandbabies and their grandkids.
All right, there you go. So she's pretty fired up. I'm gonna play. I'm just gonna keep going through because I'm gonna get to that one about Hillary Clinton. There's a one before that one about Hillary Clinton that sets up to the one we were just about to play. So I'll just keep my mind open for that.
Did you? Is it included in any of these clips what she mentions about Trump in the courtroom and all that?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it might be one of the longer ones, but we'll see. I'm gonna play this shorter one, and then I might do this long one here and see what it's about. All right, so here we go.
So my message to everybody here tonight is very simple. Number one, as his lawyer, I can tell you we're winning. You're not going to hear about it. Number two, desperation is real. Jealousy is real. We've got a president that cannot win fairly, and he's playing dirty. But as we learn in church, you don't lower yourself. You do not bring yourself to these standards. We are better than that. We will win because we've got one man on our side, and because unlike those people with robes that don't respect the Constitution, we do. We care about America. So whenever anybody's worried, my final thought for you is just very simply, I know you don't know the conversations that we have, and I can't talk about those. And I know I can't tell you all the details of things that are happening, but my one message to you all, number one, do your part. God put me in this position for an important plan. This is God's plan, and I'm supposed to be here, and so are you. We're going to save America. And no matter what they say, and no matter what they do to President Trump between now and November 5th, I want you to remember what he said to me. It's okay. We're going to be just fine, everybody. God bless you, God bless America, and God bless President Trump.
All right, so there you go.
Nice.
That's the one that kind of hints that there's, she might know that more than she's allowed to say. It's not a huge hint. It's not like you're going to, she's talking about the storm or anything like that, but it's a pretty significant hint.
Just the fact that there's so much, reminding everybody that there's so much that we just don't know. There's honestly, it's the whole iceberg thing. We see the very tip, and that's only what people allowed to be seen. Like most of the dynamics and everything that's happening, that's creating what we actually see, we just don't know. And we'll probably never know the whole story of what's going on. But
Yep. Yeah, exactly. It's going to
so
make
there
one
was
hell of a book.
part
Go ahead.
earlier in the speech where she's talking about Donald Trump and what it's like in the courtroom, and just to provide a little context to what she said at the end there, that she's bugging out because they're going after her. She's not going unscathed in this whole process, and she's recounting the story where she's talking to Trump, and she's like, "Sir, they're coming after me. I mean, they're trying to put me in prison." And Donald Trump's sitting there. He's like, "That's okay. It's okay." It's like, "You'll be great. You'll do great in prison." He's like not even worried about it. Either it's because everything that we've always talked about. This could be just a psyop, kind of on a grand psyop happening that we're watching, and that Trump knows that everything's going to be fine, so we don't see panic or anything like that. Or it could just be that he's that optimistic,
Right.
And either way, it's good news for us.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I think I might have that section. There's a lot of other cool things she says in there too.
Nice. It was a really cool talk.
Yeah, it was great. People really loved it. So I'm going to play this longer one here. I think this is the one about her parents and her inspiring story about her family. If it is, I'm going to not play it because it's so long. But I will be posting it this week, so don't forget to check the Substack, vigilantnews.substack.com.
I know you can't tell us all the private details of working with President Trump, but could you just tell us a little bit about his personality? Because I have found on the couple of occasions I've got a chance to spend just a couple moments with him, he's hilarious. Yeah. But like, so funny. I'm like, is this like stand-up comedy? But yet at the same time, he's focused. And it's that weird duality of funny but focused. You're with him all the time. Could you just explain, because you're there every day in the cold courtroom, every single day. We only get to see the 6-minute or 5-minute President Trump announcement or your press announcement. Can you tell us what it's like being with him on a day-to-day basis?
Sure. I mean, I tried to give you a little tidbit and tell you how he literally looked at me and was like, "It's okay, go to jail. It's okay, you're good." I'm like, "Are you going to bail me out?" And he's like, "No, it's good for you. Just stay." I'm like, but that is literally, so let me explain to you what a day in his life looks like. President Trump right now, let's talk about on the trial. He would wake up, he would be in Trump Tower, he would go to the 25th floor, and there would be a camera crew there for him to get his message out about running for office, something far more important than all of this. And he would do TV, take questions, and this is 7:30 in the morning. 8:30, we get in a motorcade, we go to court. He's got a team of people trying to get in just to show support, just to stand. I'm sure you all saw on TV, just the crowd of support of people standing there behind him saying, "We're here. We don't stand for the dual justice system. We're here for you, Mr. President." So he would come in, and we had this little back room. It was terrible. It's so disgusting. And we would all cram in there, and he would have his communications people. Everybody's there. And he's working. But more importantly, he's lifting us up. He's joking. He's asking what we're getting for lunch. I'm not going to lie, we do eat McDonald's.
Oh.
Everybody in the crowd was
delicious.
like, "Ooh, I don't know about that."
Not Eric Trump, though. He had to get his little salad. I made fun of him all the time for that. I'm going to hear it for saying that one. It's true. But he's working. He's got news. He's on the phone. You know, he's getting calls from Marjorie Taylor Greene. He's getting calls from whoever. And then they go, "Okay, sir, time to go in for the trial of the century." And he goes, "Okay, everybody ready? So sitting there, just follow Alina. She'll tell you where to sit. No big deal. It's going to be fine. We're going to go in. Listen, wait till you see the judge. He's a real cool." And we're sitting there. I'm like, sir, they're trying to put you in jail. And he goes, "Okay, you ready, honey? Let's go." I'm not kidding. And he's going out, and he's worried, "Is my tie straight? Am I good?" And he goes out, and he knocks it out of the park. He doesn't prep. He goes, "Let me tell you what they're doing to me." And he's doing it, and he's angry, but he's not angry for him. He was smiling 5 seconds prior. He's not angry for him. He's angry for you. So we'll have a normal lunch. He's not stressed. He gets in, finishes court, comes back out. We're all okay. What are we going to do for tomorrow? Court, whatever. Everybody going, okay, let's go. Goes to the motorcade. There are lines of people lining the street, and this guy is asking the Secret Service to pull down the window just so he can wave, and they're arguing about it. Truly. People argue like, but I want to wave. Sir, you can't do that. We're in New York. And he is like, it's okay. So do you know what he did? I don't know if any of you saw this on the news. This is Donald Trump. We get back to Trump Tower, and Eric is my witness. We all get out, and they have the blockade. But there were so many people that had been waiting for him to come home from a day in court. And this is every day. So he gets out, and I can see him. He's like angry that he couldn't open the window. And all of a sudden, he goes like this, beelines it, and just starts walking to the street with his hand up, and everyone went nuts. I think Secret Service lost a couple years off their life. And that's it. And he goes in, and then at night he's got dignitaries. He's doing more than President Biden, which I can't even it's more like Resident Biden is doing. And he's got them coming to see him, not because he wants to see them, but because they want to know that America's going to be okay. Because if America's not okay, the world is not okay. So that's President Trump. He'll go in, he'll have dinner, he'll do his thing, he'll probably do TV. And then he'll even find a moment, and this is the truth, that if I'm on Hannity with Laura and Eric, we'll get a message from him. Great job, guys. You did great. Sir, they're coming after you, and you're texting us about our 700th Hannity hit. But he's that guy. He's a good person, and he loves our country, and he's worried about it. But he is happy. I have to tell you, he's happy. But yeah, no, he doesn't listen so well when it comes to not going into the street. He was like, you know, these people waited for me, and they're here for me, and I'm going. I'll take the risk. But that's his whole life. He took the risk in 2016 when he went down that gold escalator. It's true.
All right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was a great one. Great moment on that one. Okay, so I think, let's see. I probably won't be able to get to the longer one up at the top here. I'm pretty sure that's the one about her family. We'll get to these two, and then we'll probably start to wind down.
So let me talk about the latest hoax. 5 weeks in a bench in a nasty New York courtroom for something he didn't do wrong. Nothing was wrong. We don't know what the crime is, and people keep saying that on TV, so let me explain what that means. How can you charge a former president with a case that 2 DAs did not want to bring over 8 years, one including DA Alvin Bragg? He said, no thanks, I'm good. Do you know when he brought that case? After he said, I'm running for president again. He goes, wait. No, we got to stop him now. We can't stop him with voters. We can't stop him with money. So we have to now take this man off the campaign, put him in a courthouse, and if they would have it, put him at Rikers for the rest of his life. Because they can't win. They can't. And they won't. So I just sat there for weeks on end with a man who literally sat on trial, knowing they have been coming after him, would speak to the press, and everybody would ask me, Alina, what's he doing in the back? Is he okay? Do you know what that man was doing? Working. Press. He had politicians in, out, support, in, out, taking phone calls, laughing. He was solid. Amen. He is the strongest man I know.
There you go. All
Yeah,
right.
it's something else getting a little bit of that personal insight into what goes on, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, to speak to the she mentioned multiple times that there are conversations that they have and details that they have behind the scenes that she can't talk about. But the fact that she's like, it'll be okay, it'll be okay. You know, she says that in my mind, like reading her body language, like she really believes it. She really thinks it's going to be okay, which I think anyone else would be like, what are you, nuts? Like, clearly the whole justice system's been mobilized against you. They're probably going to like try to kill you or put you in jail. It's not going to be okay. But she's like, don't worry about it. And in one clip, I don't know if we have it, but she's like, you guys, you know, I can't talk to you about everything that Trump has in store for us, but it's going to be okay. So in my mind, that kind of hints at some, you know, storm type stuff. So,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, so let's play this last one, then we'll, let's see, is it this one here?
But Lord knows, I never thought I'd be doing this today. But I'll tell you right now, when I'm tired, I look at President Trump. I get the greatest gift is that I actually know him on a personal level, and I know his family on a personal level. And you're going to meet his son, who's incredibly close to him, obviously, in a minute. But I want to tell you what my impression is, the real impression, the stuff that you don't get to see on the news. When I went into the first trial with him, I was a nervous wreck. And I was sitting at the bench, and I look over at him, and he goes, "You good?" Well, sir, I'm 36 years old at the time, and I'm representing a former president. Yeah, I'm good. It's great. No problem. Got this. We got this. It's okay. And you know what? We did. We won. When President Trump was sitting next to me, when this judge, anybody heard of the Bergdorf-Goodman case? So I'm sitting here, and an exhibit comes up on the screen, and I said, wait a minute. You can't remove that. I need to show the jury that that's my entire case. It proved everything. And the judge said, Miss Habba, sit down or I'm putting you in jail. Anybody remember that headline? My poor parents thought they were going to have to come get me out of Rikers. So I look at the president, I go, sir, he's going to put me in jail. He goes, it's okay. True story. Swear to God. And I looked at him and I thought to myself, you know what? He's right. It's okay. Let's go. I think I'd do very well at Rikers. I'd be okay. God knows I'd give lots of free legal representation. But that's the point. Anytime my fear wavers, my client is telling me it's okay. And he's telling the American people, guess what? It's okay. We're going to be just fine.
Love that.
All right. Love that clip. So there you go, y'all. There's we'll have more clips coming out. Don't forget to check or subscribe to the Vigilant News Rumble. Hit thumbs up for sure on this video.
Yes,
really
please.
appreciate that. And also go to vigilantnews.substack.com. That's vigilantnews.substack.com. I'm going to be posting all the clips. I might also harvest some Eric Trump clips. There was a few cool things he said as well. But yeah, do you want to say something?
Yeah, you got anything else coming up here in the next week or two?
Yeah, we got the DJT party, so don't forget to go to djt.com, and we're going to have a big celebration for Trump on his birthday. It's going to start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'll probably end up going till at least 12, maybe later, depending on what the energy is like. We're going to watch a really awesome movie called Trump, the Great American Patriot by Mr. Truthbomb. We'll have trivia games. We'll have a few segments. We'll probably have a panel or two. Hopefully we can get some folks well, I won't mention their names, but hopefully we can get some other folks to participate. So we got that going on.
Anything you've been working on, or, you know?
As far as like Substack?
Anything, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've got a bunch of Substacks. I'm actually going to talk about that here for a second. So I'll go to where I know you got one, so I'll start with yours first.
Well, in the meantime, the one that we showed last week.
I guess it was June 2nd. Was that last week? Oh, I guess it
Yeah,
was. Yeah,
we actually went over it last week as part of the
that's
show.
right.
But I
That's right.
got another one I was actually working on up until the stream started, and it's not anything like nothing huge. It's actually going to be a shorter Substack. But Russian state media
Mm.
this yesterday or this weekend, it was first brought to the attention of Americans this morning. Russian state media is talking about putting ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, in Mexico and establishing a military presence in Mexico. And
Oh,
so,
jeez. No kidding.
think about that for a minute. Obviously that news, which was delivered to the country by a former Air Force missile operative kind of guy, he tweets it out and he's like, "This is insane. This is unprecedented." And it's like, that might be true for the average garden variety conservative who just eats up anything they read on Fox or Breitbart. Very tribalist thinking, very surface level understanding of what's happening in the world. That might seem very shocking and kind of like just unacceptable. But the deeper implication is that what's happening with that statement, which, and it could just be talk, posturing, whatever. It's not like they're actually building the bases or anything like that. There's just something someone said on Russian state media. But what it does do is offer a glimpse into the Russian mind, because exactly what they said, this idea of putting bases in the Caribbean and in Mexico, it's exactly what NATO and the United States have done to Russia. So even if it's something they never do, just mentioning it and kind of putting that fear out there is giving people in the West who don't really understand what's happened, especially the people who support Ukraine, exactly what it feels like to be Russia. So I'm working on that piece, kind of talking about it, drawing parallels. Ukraine is the Mexico of Russia, and we've had military presence on its border, which is the most sensitive border of the entire nation. So I thought that was pretty interesting, kind of like unpacking all of that, and yeah, just mentioning. So that should be out today. And then another thing that you all might be interested in, I don't know if anybody watching is a subscriber to Dauntless Dialogue, but one thing that we're going to start doing, me and Adam, and then a handful of the editors, the content makers over there, we're going to do a monthly live stream just to hang out with the subscribers. So people subscribe to Dauntless Dialogue. It's like Netflix, except for, content like we all enjoy. If you saw Time of Deceit, the movie that we did with Badlands Media, it's that style of content. It's that quality of content, but it's a whole streaming platform full of it. And it's been around for a while, and beyond just offering the content, the documentaries that they make, Dauntless hasn't really done a whole lot, because all their time and energy is just put into making the content. Well, starting today, actually starting in about an hour, will be the first Dauntless Dialogue live stream to members. So if you're not a subscriber, you won't be able to join that stream. It's obviously not too late to subscribe if you're interested. But if you are a subscriber already and you're watching the show, go and check it out. You should be able to get to it through the Dauntless Dialogue website. And yeah, it's going to just be a nice little glimpse behind the scenes of the Dauntless Dialogue curtain. Oh, you're muted, Justin. I think you're muted. Are you did something happen? What's going on here? Um Well, hey guys, I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know what happened there, but Justin is gone. He's no longer with us on this stream. It's just us. So, hopefully he'll come back. It's amazing.
Testing. Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. Hey guys, I don't know what happened. My sound just like totally crashed out of nowhere. So gotta love that. But anyway, we're back. So
So was everything I said? Did it go through? I don't know.
yeah, it was not actually you. It was me the whole time. Like the PreSonus, the thing that we use, just like stopped sending sound to the computer. I guess I'm not sure what happened, but thanks for putting in, being patient with us, everybody.
You show me a live stream where something doesn't go wrong,
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's one of the
All right, go ahead.
virtues of the independent media audience is that they have the patience to deal with the constant stream of brungles.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I'm not sure why that happens occasionally. I'm checking right now to make sure. It's like, am I still? Yeah, okay, I'm still coming through. But yeah, that's just the way it works when you're a producer, sound guy, everything that it takes to do a show, and occasionally things slip through the cracks. So thankfully, the audience is very forgiving.
Yeah, thank God.
So let me show. So I got some Substacks. I've been putting out more Substacks lately, so you can go to justindeschamps.substack.com. You can check the link in the description in the show notes. Last week I talked about the short history of encroachment of globalism. You can check that one out. It gets into a lot of interesting history. Nice. I talked about, I'm doing these ones, I call them QTs or quick takes. So there's one about the hypocrisy on display with Piers Morgan. There's the precedent set by President Donald J. Trump. That one's been pretty popular. So there's a list of precedents that Donald J. Trump has set as a result of all the stuff that he's been going through that are going to come around and boomerang on the cabal, as a lot of you guys know. So that's a good one to keep handy.
Nice.
And then I've got this last one I put out a couple days ago about this guy Keith, who's an audience member of the Dr. Phil show. And he asked Dr. Phil, he's like, I don't know if I can vote for Trump. He's a convicted felon. How am I supposed to vote for a convicted felon? We're not supposed to do that kind of thing. And I can break that down. I show that Keith's actually right in the sense that that's exactly the kind of thinking we should be seeing. However, what he's wrong about is the greater picture at work here, and that the deep state, they're the ones who are in the substance, the convicted felon. Because what a convicted felon means, other than just the title, is that it's somebody who's acted in bad faith and breached the trust of the American people and broken their oath of office and even broken their pledge to be a law-abiding citizen to their fellow citizenry. And that person should not be is not qualified for office, because in order to be an office holder, the whole point you're going into office is to uphold and defend the rights of the people. And if you have broken those laws and violated the rights of the people, and you haven't cleared the air, what I call a clearing the air ceremony, or cleaning your hands so that you can have clean hands, then it's like you've committed a crime, and you can't be trusted anymore until you make amends for that crime, admit your mistake, show remorse, and do some act of recompense where you try to pay the people back that you've harmed. So I think that Keith's question was spot on, and you can read all about that. I get into some more stuff about Trump in that one as well. So don't forget to, you guys, you can check out the Post-Liberal, which is postliberalnews.substack.com. That's Ryan's outfit, and that Substack he was talking about will be out later today, no doubt. And then while I'm here, I'll also show you guys also the DJ Tea Party. You can go to djteaparty.com. You can find the Eventbrite in there. You can sign up. We're going to have a pretty awesome event here this Friday. We're going to celebrate the greatest patriot in living memory, Donald J. Trump. We're going to talk about some of his exploits, talk about a whole bunch of different things that I think would be really inspiring, and really just celebrate the man's birthday. You can also sign his birthday card here, which I have on the website, and I'll be sharing with everybody. So, we'll do as much cool stuff as we can in the time we have to work with. All right. Well, with that, also don't forget to check out Dauntless Dialogue live stream. If you're a subscriber to Dauntless Dialogue, it's only $5 a month. So sign up while you can, while it stays at that very cheap rate. And so you can check out Ryan on there. And of course, Adam Riva, who's done the Devolve series, who did The Time of Deceit. He worked on the the Flynn movie. And it has a whole bunch of other great pieces on there as well. All right. So with that, anything else? Oh, now you're muted. Okay, hold on. Let's see if I can unmute you. Unless I'm muted. Yeah, you're muted and I can't unmute you for some reason. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see here. Testing. You must have had, I think it's just an internet glitch. Let's add him here. Okay, can you? Hey, we're back. All right.
Rolling with the punches, always.
That's right. Yeah, Ryan's on the battlefield right now. You guys don't know this, but that's the reason he's calling in from his car is because he was just kicking some ass at the southern border while he was also doing reporting about Ukraine. So.
Yeah, just a day in the life.
That's right. So. Awesome. Well, yeah. Any final thoughts?
No, thank you guys for watching. Please give us a thumbs up. Follow us on Telegram if you can. If anybody's on Facebook, look for Post Liberal there. Yeah, try to work. I'm going to be trying to do more with social media. I haven't been the best at it, I will admit. It's too much work to be doing to even have the time to goof around with social media. So, but I'm going to try to carve out some time to do it. So follow my Telegram. Definitely follow my Substack. And if you're not already subscribed to Dauntless Dialogue, you should consider it. It's like the cheapest streaming service there is, as far as I know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And I just saw this comment, so I just want to cover it real quick. Mad Pie Perfect says, I was at the Reawakening event and I saw you both. I so much wanted to come over and say hello to tell you that you are my favorites on Badlands, but you disappeared before I could walk over.
Oh, no.
That's a shame.
Yeah, we would have loved to see you and hear from you.
Exactly. Yeah, we had a couple people walk up and say they saw us from Badlands. And of course, we're not on there anymore, but don't worry, we got some big plans coming up that I think are going to be bigger and better. And we had a lot of people who said they knew We the Media, so that was cool. As a matter of fact, Paul, American Hypnotist, he was at an event yesterday, and he talked about We the Media, and he said a whole bunch of people at the event knew about We the Media. So We the Media's got some really powerful brand recognition, and we're going to try to mobilize that. Yeah, dude.
What event did Paul go to?
Some kind of like Moms for Patriotism or something like that. Or Patriotic Moms was, I think, the gal who threw the party. And there was a whole bunch of people there from, the Patriot community around here. And
Nice.
Yeah, so this is something Ryan and I have had a dream about for a while. We want to have in-person events. We want to have more community building. What we want to do is we want to create events in your local area so that we can link you guys up with other patriots, because there are millions of people who are inspired over the past few years, past few months, and there's no need to live alone anymore and be in isolation. We want to restore the community that made America great, and we want to start to do that, and we might do it through the We the Media outfit. We're just kind of talking about that now, so.
Nice.
So awesome. All right, y'all. Well, much love. I'm going to let Ryan go so he can go do his thing. We'll see you guys on the next episode of Vigilant News. Don't forget to subscribe to vigilantnews.substack, subscribe to the We the Media Rumble channel, and follow us on our socials so you can stay up to date with us as the week progresses. With that, much love and take care, everybody.
Take care.